And I remember before he passed away, he had told me that Hey everyone, Dr. Frank, and this is my latest segment of Let Me Be Frank. I wanted to talk a little bit more about my dad today, and I want to talk about my why of getting into chiropractic and the healthcare field in general, and he's a big reason why. I mentioned in one of my recent episodes about the poem I had, the Don't Quit poem I have in my treatment room, and that was something that he had hung up that he read before work every day, and I read it when I go in the office every day as well. And it really makes me remember him, but also inspires me to work better, work harder, and do a better job for my patients and my family in general. Just it reminds me of him, and it drives me when I go into the office. But he passed away when I was 16 and a half years old. I was in 11th grade, and it was kind of sudden. He had actually dealt with depression for a long time in his life, and he ended up committing suicide when I was 16 and a half. It was a shock. We didn't know that he had been that bad off, that he felt like that was what he needed to do at that point. But it really took a toll on our family, and it really made me think about what I wanted to do to work and have a career, and I wanted to go into the healthcare field because I really wanted to just help people. One of the other things my dad had always said to me was to own a business. He said, you really try to own your own business. It's the best way to go. And I wanted to do that. And I knew as a chiropractor, I could have my own business and be in the healthcare field. His sickness and what he dealt with really inspired me to go into the healthcare field. You know, after he died, I dealt with a lot of anger for a long time. I just didn't understand it, and even today I don't totally understand those things, but I have a little bit better understanding now, going on 25 years later. But I didn't realize at the time how sick he was and how much depression really can affect people, and even a guy as tough as he was, he felt like that was the best decision to do something like that. And I think he felt he was a burden on us. I think he felt that he just wasn't himself anymore, and maybe he never would be again. So he felt like that was the best way to exit, where he wouldn't be that burden on us. It took a toll on us because we all were so close with him, my family, his family. He was a great guy, and he really had good advice. He was one of those guys that gave you great advice, but never always took it. He played a lot of sports. Even as a young kid, he had a tryout with the New York Giants back when they played in New York. But with our family, we had to deal with the aftermath of that, and we had to move out of New York after that. But for a long time, I was really angry after he had passed away. And I remember my mom telling me to go and see a counselor and do some counseling and stuff like that. And I honestly refused. I was thinking that was not macho, and I'm a man, I don't need to do that, and that's weak if I go speak to a counselor. But I really should have taken her advice and done something like that, because I was really holding in a lot of anger, and I didn't realize that until I got into college and going into chiropractic school. Holding in that anger was really only hurting me. Even after he passed away, I really didn't miss any school. I remember getting straight A's that quarter that he passed away, and playing in football. And I wanted to play in the game the week that he died, but my coach didn't let me, and it probably was better off, just in case I didn't do as well as I wanted. It probably was better off to skip that game. I got in fights when I was in college because I would just be pissed off at something else, and I would decide that's how we'd fix it at that point, and it was just not the best way to handle things as the years went on. But it was really the anger that was a bad thing in my life, and I really had to do a lot to overcome that and just learn that it was something that I couldn't control, him passing away, and that he was a sick man, and he made a decision not in his right mind, And knowing that he did that, it was really sad, because going on in life now, getting married, having kids, seeing me graduate from chiropractic school, there were so many things that he's missed out on. You know, I've had a lot of patients over the years, and colleagues tell me that they've had patients in so much pain that they just didn't want to live anymore. And it's a sad thing if you get to that point in life where you feel so bad that you don't want to live because of the pain. But really, there's always a way. There's always a way that's better than something like suicide, because ultimately it doesn't affect just you, it affects everybody else. And like I've said before, with other things that I've done for myself, because I knew that I needed to do better for my health, for my family. If you're not going to do it for yourself, at least do it for them. Because the aftermath it never ends. You always remember what happened. You get through it, but it's still a big hole in your heart years later when someone like that passes. For me, like I said, I've done a lot of things to help my mental health over the years. I've done something in the office called Brain Tap, and it's basically you listen to these recordings and it helps kind of reset those pathways in your brain, because when you start getting angry at something and that's your initial reaction to things, and that's kind of the wiring that happens in your brain. You're just wired now to get angry and pissed off at anything that happens, and that's your reaction, and that's the immediate reaction that you now have to most things in life, and it's very dangerous to have that. So it's important to rewire your brain if you have a pathway that's not good like that, whether it's anger, whether it's anxiety, depression. Something like Brain Tap is really good, or there's other apps out there that help with that, but it's something I've added in, and I've really seen a difference by listening to those Brain Tap episodes, but also just learning to accept the things you cannot change. And also over the years, I've gone to some counseling now, and I do know that it helps. And it's not that I'm weak, it's that sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. You know, my dad is a big part of why I do what I do, because I just want to help people, and I don't want anybody to end up in a situation like that. And I want the best for people, the best for my patients, and I want to make sure that I'm around as well in a healthy state and a good mental status as well, to be there for my family and my patients and my obligations that I have. So that's a big reason why I do what I do, and it's really changed my life, at first for bad, but I think for good in the long run. And I know that my dad was happy with us growing up, the things we did, always coming to my games and everything. And I always appreciated him coming down there even after he worked all night. But you know, things happen in life, so you got to learn how to get through them, and you got to learn that tomorrow's a new day, and he would want better for me and my family, and I know that he'd be proud of the man that I am today. And I remember before he passed away, he had told me that I was his hero, that I did all the things and was going in the right direction, all the things that he didn't accomplish in his life, and he saw the best in him, in me, and he knew that I'd go on and do really good things. So I always have him on my mind, so that when I'm seeing patients and when I'm with my family, that I know that I'm doing my best to be the best in his memory. So So appreciate you following me with this today and listening to my story, so you kind of know my why and why I'm in this field and why I do what I do. So I look forward to doing more episodes with you, and I love being in the chiropractic field. I love helping people, and I hope someday I can talk about it with my dad again. And I'll catch you on the flip side.